Today's notes are notes number 1 for transformations, and our I can statement is I can perform translations, and that's our word today, translations, on a coordinate plane. Coordinate plane is just a way of saying a graph. And so today we're going to be focusing on one type of shift, which is a translation when we talk about transformations. And basically, if we say we're going to translate something, translation is simply sliding a shape. So we're going to slide our shape horizontally or vertical. So we can slide it up, down, left, right, any direction really we want. And then when we talk about transformations, we always have a general rule. And this general rule applies to any problem, any graph, any shape. And it tells us how my X and my Y coordinate are going to change. So it's always going to look like an ordered pair where we have our X value and our Y value. And what happens is we shift this. And when we shift this, we say X changes plus A values, and Y is going to change plus B values. All this means is that when I move my X value, it's going to move this many units, and it could be positive or negative, so left or right. And when I shift my Y value, it's going to move this many units up or down. Just like with graphing, if it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. So to see this in action, we start with a figure, and we have to figure out what our original coordinates are. So what we need to do is we need to list points A, B, and C. A is at the point -1, 0. B is at the point 3, 2. And C is at the point 5, 0. Remember, when we list an ordered pair, it's always X, Y. Then this is telling us to translate the image 3 units right. Moving to the right 3 units. And we're going to do that for each point. So A moves 3 units right. And when we relabel it, we call it A prime. That little tick mark says it's our new A point. B, 3 units right. And we call it B prime. And C, 3 units right, which is going to be called C prime. And we can connect these points into our new shape. And then we're going to relist our coordinates. A prime has now moved to 2, 0. B prime is at 6, 2. And C prime is at 8, 0. And look at this observation here. This note, making observations is going to be the most important thing for translations. The coordinates of our new shape have that prime symbol on them to show the new coordinate or the new point. This means that they are the new shape. Remember, we call it like
Good morning, Butler Middle School student.
So it has that prime symbol. And then also look at your coordinates here. Make those observations. When we shift 3 units right, that changes the X value. So that means my X values are going to be different. And they're going to be different by adding 3 to them because I shifted right 3. So when we look at this, look at my A was at -1, A prime, a difference of 3. B was at 3, then it became 6. C was at 5, then it became 8. We could have done this mathematically without using our graph if we had to, by knowing that we shifted my X value by adding 3. Here's another example for us. List the original coordinates first. So y is at negative 3, 3. M is at negative 3, 2. T is at my origin, so 0, 0. And Q is at negative 2, 0. Now, it says directions for us to translate 3 units down. So we have to go down 3 and 2 units right. So each individual point is going to move 3 down, 2 right, and then we relabel it as that number or letter prime. So I'm going to start with T. 3 down, 2 right. I'm going to drop my new point, and I'm going to call that T prime. Q. 3 down, 2 right. Drop my new point. Make sure I label it correctly. Same with M, M prime, and Y, Y prime. And then I'm going to reconnect my points into that shape. And so all I did was take that original shape and slide it in a new position. It should have the same look to it. Then I'm going to relist my coordinates. M prime is at negative 1, negative 1. Y prime, negative 1, 0. T prime, 2, negative 3. Q prime, 0, negative 3. And then once again, we want to make those observations. My x value is at left, right. I went right 2, so that's the same as adding 2 to each x. Negative 3 plus 2, negative 1. Negative 3 plus 2, negative 1. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So look at how my x's changed. And then make those same observations with my y's. When y was down 3, so that's subtracting 3. So 2 minus 3, negative 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 minus 3 was negative 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. We don't necessarily have to graph if we know how we're moving and how that affects my coordinates. And our last example today, I would like you to do this on your own, then come back and check your answers. So remember, the first thing you have to do is list your new coordinates, or your original coordinates. The second thing you're going to do is translate 4 left. So we're going to go 4 left, and then 2 up. And then the third thing you'll do is list your new points and making sure you label them correctly as G prime, U prime, and so on. Pause the video, do this on your own, and then come back and check your work. So when we look at our translated shape, it went 4 left, 2 up. And so I have all my new coordinates, and think about how this works mathematically. On my x values, 4 left, that's subtracting. 4 minus 4 got me to 0. 3 minus 4 changed to negative 1. 2 minus 4 changed to negative 2. 2 minus 4 changed to negative 2. Then doing that same thought with my y values, y is 2 up, that's adding 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And 0 plus 2 is 2. So not only can we see it visually on a coordinate plane, we can also think about it mathematically, knowing how we shift and how that affects those coordinates when it moves.